Okay, so we're going to talk about how to deal with strong negative emotions. And it goes without saying that emotions are like a major influence in our lives. Like they're big, they're there, like they are a strong part of our lives. And if you ask someone what makes life enjoyable and what makes life really difficult, the answer to both questions would be emotions. So and this is why they're important because they can actually control our lives. You know, they dictate what we do. If we want to do something, we do it because it feels good. You know, we want love, we want happiness, we want joy, and we don't do something because it feels bad. You know, this is where um, maybe it hurts. Like, a lot of people are afraid of going into relationships, for example, because they are afraid of getting emotionally hurt. And just fear in general is like a major influence in our lives, and all of these are emotions, and all of these can be dealt with either in a healthy way or unhealthy way. And I'm gonna try to show you how to deal with these emotions in a healthy way, meaning that what does healthy mean? Healthy means that um hold on, can you mute? Healthy means that this emotion doesn't result in negative consequences. For example, if you're suffering from anger, the healthy way to deal with anger would not result in negative consequences or with any emotion. That applies to all emotions. And healthy also means that we want to deal with that emotion definitely. Like if we keep getting triggered by a situation, like it inflicts us with painful emotions, then we want to deal with that emotion, meaning that it won't keep reoccurring, you know, it's just gone. That's the goal. Um, so as you can see, I posted an outline for the talk. So we're gonna talk about how do negative emotions work, how to integrate them by allowing and feeling, how to integrate by expressing, what you shouldn't do, you shouldn't suppress, you shouldn't identify, and I'm gonna add some ideas about how to integrate by inquiring into the emotions. So how do emotions work? You know, in the last month I've been trying to understand how do emotions work, why they, how do we deal with them, how did they occur, what can we do about them. And that's because I've been going through a rough period, so I really wanted to figure out what to do about them. And so I started by trying to learn where they come from. And what I learned just actually blew my mind, because what I discovered that whenever we get triggered emotionally, what is actually happening is like we're remembering something that happened to us in our past. See? And it's getting triggered is actually just remembering something. That's all it is. Like for example, imagine like your girlfriend cheats on you and you get triggered. You're not triggered because your girlfriend cheated on you. Exactly. You're triggered because the cheating reminded you of something that happened to you in your past, something that was painful, and you suppressed it. And these two situations have something in similar. You know, maybe you were a kid, a child, and your mother, you were crying, and your mother didn't pay attention to you and abandoned you, and now you have this trauma of abandonment. And now, when your girlfriend leaves you, for example, you're not feeling pain because your girlfriend left you. You're feeling pain because your girlfriend leaving you reminds you of your mother abandoning you when you were a child. And when you get triggered, you don't get a memory of like getting abandoned by your mother. You only feel what you felt, you know. And um, why? So we feel basically we feel trauma when we get triggered. And trauma is just like, it doesn't have to be anything like super horrible, like rape, for example. Like we all had trauma, we all had like difficult childhood experiences, even if we don't consider them difficult in our adult lives. So these difficult experiences occur, And since we're like kids, we're like children basically. We don't know how to deal with them. We don't have tools to deal with them in a healthy way, and they're scary, these emotions. In all honesty, they're painful. Like imagine getting abandoned by your mother. The amount of hurt you would feel would probably just overwhelm you to the degree that you would like you would try to suppress it basically. That's like the main mechanism by which we cope as children with emotions. Maybe we do express them to some degree. We can cry, we can, I don't know, we can break stuff, and that's healthy, but we don't always do that. Like especially with those emotions that are really difficult that we just don't know what to do with them. We just suppress them, you know? And once we suppress them, they're there. They stay with us. They come with us into our adult lives. They are never actually gone. And that's the problem. That's what we're dealing with when we get triggered. So getting triggered is actually a good thing, you know, because it's like an opportunity to, remember how we said like this emotion is still with you because you suppressed it. See, it was painful, you suppressed it. And now it gets triggered, it bubbles up. It's not suppressed anymore. You see it, you feel it. So once that happens, that's an opportunity for you to integrate it. And we're going to delve into how to integrate it. But you can actually deal with it once that happens. And that's like one of the most practical ways of uh, quote unquote emotional healing. That's how you heal the emotional body. That's how you heal the trauma. That's how you heal yourself, by actually getting triggered. As horrible as that sounds, because we all know that getting triggered, like, it sucks. You know, you feel hurt. Feeling hurt sucks. But it's actually a good thing. And the person who hurts you, who quote unquote hurts you, is only reminding you of what happened to you. This is why sometimes people we can like see people hurting us and like, why are you hurting me this way, or like making us angry, like, why are you making me angry? And the other person won't even know what you're talking about. Like, what do you mean I'm making you angry? I'm not doing anything. Or I'm not hurting you. Like, I don't know why you're feeling hurt. Like, this happens a lot. Like, you would feel something and the other person can't relate at all, because what you're feeling is personal in all meaning of that word. It only makes sense to you, because it is related to your past, and we don't all share the same past. That's why not all people feel the same things in the same situations. you know Not everyone feels horrible when they get cheated on. Not everyone feels angry when something gets stolen from them. You might think that, like, getting angry when someone steals something from you is inherent to that situation. It's not. It's only occurring because of your personal past, personal trauma or emotional imprints that we carried over from our childhood. Um, so yeah, getting triggered is good because it gives us the opportunity to integrate it. And it's kind of like, whenever someone does that to us, they're like a messenger. They're like reminding us, like, hey, something is there inside you, something that's really painful inside you, and it wants to come up, it wants to come out. And in a sense, even though like they're doing something bad to us by hurting us, it's actually a good thing because they're giving us the chance to heal. Okay. Now that we've covered these points, actually, this point is going to come in handy because it makes integrating emotions way easier. Because one of the things that we struggle with integrating emotions, painful emotions, is we tend to identify with them. We make stories about them, like oh, that person is evil and they're bad and like blah blah blah, and she's horrible. Why did she do that? And we make up these stories because we feel that we're projecting into that person our emotional trauma and all that shit. So And we're gonna talk about identifying later, but this comes in handy because it makes the emotion not about someone or something outside of you. It makes it all about you. You know, this tells you that you're responsible for all your emotions, basically, and you're the only one who actually can heal them. And so, how do you actually heal these emotions? How do you integrate them? Well, it's um, it's really simple actually. It's um, it's too simple, and you would think like, why? This is what I thought to myself like when I discovered this. Like, why didn't I lived 24 years of my life, and I never realized that this is how you are actually supposed to deal with emotions because it sounds so freaking simple. And the way to do that is simply to feel it and to just be with it. Yeah, it sounds simple, but it's not easy actually. In when it comes to actually doing it, it's not easy. So that's the way to integrate emotion. Like the moment you get triggered and you're like, hold on, I have this emotion, painful emotion in me. I need to give it some time and some attention, and I need to be with it. You know, it's like someone, it's like your little kid demanding for your time, your little beloved kid, and you're like, hold on, I need to stop everything and play with my beloved kid and take care of him. This is like taking care of your inner child, basically. So you're like, I need to give myself the time to feel this anger and this hurt, and to feel it wholeheartedly, to give it all of my presence and all of my compassion without, and this is what messes us up so much, without suppressing or resisting it. And this doesn't come intuitive to us because the intuitive thing to for us to do when we feel bad is to try to escape it. See, this is suppression. Suppression means you try to escape the emotion. You don't want to feel it because you feel like it hurts, it's scary. You don't want that. You want to escape it. You want safety. So how do we usually seek safety from our emotions? We distract ourselves. Maybe we ignore it. You know, we convince ourselves like maybe we use our like maybe you're feeling angry and you're like, I'm not supposed to be angry in this situation, and you keep like rationalizing with yourself, like you're thinking it through. You're trying to convince yourself not to be angry. See, what you're doing here is you're not given the presence that the anger deserves. You're denying it presence. You're denying your emotions. So maybe you do that. Maybe you just tense up. You know, maybe you go. I don't know. Basically, anything that keeps you from just um, sitting and observing the emotion and exploring what it feels like and trying to accept it. And the mindset that you need to go with it is that this doesn't have to go away. This emotion that I'm feeling, even though it's painful, you know, this doesn't have to go away. I can accept this. And once you do that, the emotion stops being scary, even though it's painful. Um, because because it's like it's when you explore it and you see what it is, you will find out that it's like a sensation in your chest or in your belly. And that's the key word. It's sensation. And sensation is like any other sensation. It's just like it's just our concepts that we like label sensations are bad, it's good, but they're not bad or good. They're not negative, even if we call them negative emotions, honestly. They're just sensations. You know, we just observe them objectively. And at the end of the day, they won't stay there forever. And this is tricky because what I found out is that when you're observing these emotions in your body, it kind of feels that the emotion will be there forever. Like, oh my God, if I'm feeling this, I'm gonna feel this like the entire day or the entire week. And that's not true. You just you just have to accept. You just try to accept that you can feel this for the entire day and the entire week. That's what unconditional presence means, that you don't want it to go away. You can let it go away whenever it wants. But it doesn't actually take the entire day. Like it will go away before you even know it. And that's how we integrate emotions basically. See, it's the opposite of suppressing because suppressing is what caused them to stay there in the first place, you know? But once we be with the emotion naturally wants to come, to be there, and to go away. And then we get triggered again, and the emotion comes, does what it does, and goes away, you know. And when the emotion comes, thoughts come with it as well, you know. So the same way that we don't want to suppress our thoughts, our emotion, we don't want to suppress the thoughts that come with it, you know. And that doesn't mean that we identify with them, that we like let ourselves drown in our miserable stories, and we keep like blaming people and stuff. No, thoughts come and go just like emotions, and you can observe them objectively for what they are. You can take a step back out of them and like be with them, and this is super healthy, you know. This is not what people do. Like it might sound simple, it is not what I did for the past 24 years old the past 24 years. That's not what I did. I just only learned how to do this recently, and it's skill. It's not intuitive, so we have to actually like try to practice this whenever a trigger comes up, and you gotta, oh no, I'm gonna stay with it. And it's okay to stay with it. It's not that painful. Just be with it, and it's not that painful. The trick is that um, it can be subtle. Like we can think that we're not resisting the emotion, but there's always like a subtle level of resistance that we should try to find and to let go of. You like being with the emotion, and you think like you're being with it, but maybe your chest is like tensed up. Actually, like you're tensing up your chest like that. It's like because you don't want to feel it. So you see that resistance, you let go of it, and you relax your chest, you relax your belly. These two parts are very important in my experience, like the chest and the belly. They're always there. That's all. Like I don't feel it in my hands or in my shoulders. I don't know if other people do. For me, it's just like the chest and the belly. So yeah, remember to relax those, to breathe deeply, to be with the emotion. Don't suppress, don't resist, and don't react, and it will go away. So um, that's like the major thing we have to do to deal with emotions. Another thing that like supercharges this and makes it even more effective is to express them. And we will get emotions naturally. Our body wants to express them. You know, the only difficulty we have expressing emotions is like we tend to judge a lot our own expression. When you're crying, maybe you're a man and you're crying, and like, oh no, men are not supposed to cry. So what do you do? Your body wants to express that sadness, that crying. So what do? You suppress it. You don't let it express it. You know, and that doesn't help anything. That doesn't do anything. So expressing is good. How do you express? You cry. Maybe you shake. You scream. Screaming is awesome. And you can even do these things quietly. Like you can in your room, right? From right now, for me, for example, I can scream if I want to scream, but I don't have to voice it. I can scream silently. I can cry silently. You know, and this is good when this kind of speeds up the process, I think. So you're expressing the emotion, and you're at the same time you're careful not to identify. You know, you can, for example, you can express if someone did something bad to you and you feel angry at them or hateful at them. Naturally, we don't want to suppress that. So maybe your body wants to express it, and your mind also wants to express it. So you go like you're stupid, you're an idiot, you're terrible, you're a horrible person. This is expression. But if you're observing this expression that's going on, you don't have to actually believe that the other person is horrible. You know, it's something that you want to do in the moment. It, your body, when you do that, for example, when you're angry and your body does that, you feel like the heat's come up. You know, like you're unsuppressing kind of like it's you're making it bubble up more. Like you're putting gasoline into the fire, and you're staying with that too, so you can like unsuppress more trauma, like make the healing more effective. So yeah, you can scream, you can do that, you can even like visualize yourself expressing. Like yeah, you can actually imagine yourself expressing emotion. If you can like if you can do something realistically, you can do it in your mind. Maybe you can imagine yourself being I don't know, freaking Goku, and like breathing fire from your mouth, or like because you're so angry, maybe you're like chopping the whole planet Earth in half. You can do that, and it's super great. um Let me see. Yeah, so, and try to do this in an environment where you won't get judged. Okay, and it's a safe environment. Nobody's gonna judge you for crying or like screaming and tell you like, all this. um Now we're gonna move to what you shouldn't do when dealing with emotions, and this one we've already talked about. Kind of, it's suppressing. So you have to allow your emotions at all costs. Be with them, give them the time they deserve, the love they deserve, the compassion they deserve. And suppressing just is just doing more of what you've always been doing ever since you were a child. That's the reason your emotions are still there with you. You know, these emotions were actually, if they're stuck in our systems, and they actually are stuck in our systems, like most of us are have like so much repressed emotions in our systems. They are actually weighing us down. You know, it's like carrying a big pile of shit on your back, and you can't let go of it. um, they are obstructing the positive emotions. You know, they're taking up space in our system. We can't feel joy, happiness as much, because we have so much anger or hurt inside of us. And this only happens because we suppress it. And some people suppress emotions so much that they become emotionally numb. You know, they won't feel like yeah, emotionally numb. Becoming emotionally numb sounds good. When talking about like the bad negative emotions, because you won't feel the negative emotions, you won't feel the anger or the hurt because you're so numb. But you actually also won't feel the good emotions. You won't feel the happiness, the joy, because you're numb. And so there's a correlation there. So um, yeah, the more you let go of the negative emotions, the more you create space for the positive ones to, imbue your system. um, and suppressing is the culprit that keeps those emotions stuck in our system. Another thing is identifying. This is also something we don't, it doesn't serve us to do. So we can talk about, if we talk about these two things, like identifying and suppression, like they're kind of like two ends of a spectrum. So suppression is like, I'm gonna ignore my emotions, I'm gonna distract myself from them. I don't want to feel them. They're not there. Forget about them. Yeah, let's go hang out with my friends or some shit like that. Identifying is like, maybe when you're identified with your emotions, you're actually expressing them, like you're crying, um you're feeling sad, you're isolating yourself maybe, but you're also creating unnecessary suffering, because you're basically, to identify with an emotion is like to identify with the thoughts that come from them. because you can't actually identify with an emotion. You can identify with stories. You can lose yourself in the stories. You can believe the stories, you know, like you can actually believe that another person is actually horrible and they are born horrible, and you're wondering, why are they so fucking horrible? Why are they treating me like this? Am I actually a bad person? And this this is not true, because we said that the reason you're feeling this is because it's reminding you of something that happened in your past. So it's all of your responsibility. You're neglecting the responsibility of your emotions to feel a victim. So you're identifying with stories. You're not giving responsibility to your emotions, and you're being a victim. You're feeling like people are doing horrible stuff to you. And these emotions, like for example the emotion of hurt, thoughts come with it and stories come with it. We can either observe them or identify with them. And when we identify with our stories are actually like colored. They are colored by our emotions. So if we're feeling hurt or angry, our thoughts are hurtful or angry. And if we actually keep identifying with our stories and our thoughts, they will also color our behavior. So you're hurts, you're feeling hurts, you're thinking hurts, and you're doing hurts. So maybe you're gonna blame someone or take revenge for making you feel hurt, or you're gonna hurt them as well. Um, this is basically reacting to your emotions and not taking responsibility for them, and you're suffering for that, and it's actually not doing you any good. You're actually, when you're identifying with your stories, notice what you're doing. Like, you're ignoring your body, you're ignoring the sensations, the painful sensations in your body, to go to your head. So you're swimming in your stories. You're not paying attention to your body, even though you're crying and you think, oh, like, oh, maybe I am purging through these emotions. You're mainly stuck in your head, and like your head will generate more thoughts, and these thoughts will actually make you more hurt, and like you keep resisting that hurt, and you're getting more to your head, and it's like a cycle, resist hurt, go to your head, head creates more hurt, and then resist hurt, and then go to your head, do actions, action hurts you, and yeah, it's a vicious cycle. And we only have 4 minutes left, less than 4 minutes left. So, uh, point seven, integration by inquiring, is some people say you don't have to do this; it's not necessary. Some people say that it helps more with the healing if you're actually, when you're feeling hurt and you're triggered, instead of just like feeling it, you can ask yourself, when was the first time I felt this way? This is a way for you to regress back in time and see this experience that resulted in this trauma, to remember it, to remember the events, to live through them, to feel the emotions that you felt in them, and to see if there were any beliefs that were created during that period when you were feeling that trauma, and to just work there, work in the past, resolve the situation there. Feel the emotions that you felt in the past, see the thoughts that you saw, just resolve the situation and give it closure. Some people say this is another extra healing modality. Perhaps in that some other people say this is not necessary. You don't have to relive the experiences. You can just feel the emotion, and the emotion will heal itself. So yeah, that's basically it. There is a lot to say about this. So it's a very interesting topic, and I encourage you all to look more deeply into it, because we all have negative emotions, and quite honestly, they're making life difficult if we don't know how to deal with them, and they're always there, and they're like, they're keeping us from realizing our potential and being a happier person. Allowing more space for our joy and happiness to come through with us, and like, to actually heal our system. So yeah, and thank you all for listening to me. So yeah, the meeting will end. The meeting will end in like 1 minute and 30 seconds. So we can make another meeting if you have any questions, and we can talk about those. You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you for the topic. It was really, really interesting.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure. I love hearing myself talk.
So we're starting a different call.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna stop the recording now and we're gonna move into a new call.